Hi, welcome to the question of the week. My name is Richard Petrie, creator of the Sunshine Island Express, a marketing set of tools and resources that helps architects find freedom by winning better projects, increasing their fees, and working on projects that fulfill them. So this week's question is, should I cut my fees? Should I cut my fees to win projects? All right. Well, one thing you never want to be is you never want to be known as the cheap guy. That's a label you never want. Last thing you want people to say is, you should use my architect. Boy, oh boy, is he cheap or is she cheap. Let me give you the number. Now, that is a referral you do not want, because being introduced that way is like strapping a straitjacket on you around price, which is really hard to escape from. So now, as I think of it, right, we painted our house a couple of years ago, and in fact, this was a van I saw in San Diego not too long ago. But it's kind of on topic. We painted our house, and my wife got quotes from at least 3 teams of painters and settled on a Vietnamese team who were less than half the price of the highest bidder. And they painted the house, inside the house. They did a great job, and we were happy. So to return the favour, my wife then proceeded to refer them to all our friends, but always with a statement about how cheap they were compared to the other quotes. Now, in reflection, those referrals that she gave were probably a noose around their neck. And these poor Vietnamese painters were typecast as the low price guys. And it's very hard to suddenly start a conversation about quality and premium fees when your last client has tightly strapped you into the low price straitjacket. Now, I reckon my wife would have kept these poor guys flat out for about 3 months on their low margin hamster wheel. And in hindsight, I would now suggest that after doing our job, that they run as fast as they could, and even consider changing their name, their phone number, and their company, so they can rehabilitate their cheap reputation that my wife was painting them with. Plastic surgery should even be considered. Now, I know there are some commodity industries where having a competitive price advantage is a great strategy. And maybe you can produce widgets 5 cents less than everybody else. And while, yes, you can win by being the cheapest sometimes, and that is a strategy if you have a production advantage, but there's no point being the second cheapest. You either win the price game or you need to find another game to play. Now, as an architect, I'm going to suggest that you're selling a high-end custom boutique service, right? If you get known as the cheap guy or the cheap woman, I'll wager anything you like that at some point some other mug will come along and undercut you. And undercutting the competition requires little or no intelligence or imagination, no courage or stamina, and no need to stay in business for long either. So being the cheapest is a mug's game where no one wins. So what's the best label to have? Now, that's a much better question. As a general rule, you want to be known as the specialist in, and then you insert your category of work that you want to attract. High-end buyers are attracted to specialists. If I'm a lonely millionaire with a big nose, I'm going to be attracted to the guy or gal who specializes in big nose reductions, not the guy or the gal who's a dab hand at pretty much anything. Being a jack of all trades is not an advantage in the minds of the high-end clients. They're used to heart specialists, skin specialists, tax specialists, fertility specialists, and want a specialist for their house or their project as well. They can afford it. So that's what they're going to have. And sure, some might want it 10 to 50% cheaper, but why take the risk? Low-end clients will always take the risk because they have to. So in summary, you want to be positioned as a specialist, never the cheap guy. You never want to be known as the cheap guy. So if you've got a question, then you can type in your question below. If you want help with your marketing, you can go to www.archmarketing.org/info and work out how you can work smarter, not harder. My name's Richard Petrie. See you next week.